Lights brighten. The speaker steps forward with electrifying energy. 2025 is here. Your moment has arrived. This isn't just another video. This is the one that will shift your entire trajectory. Feel that fire. That's your call to greatness echoing back at you. There's a moment in every person's life where they come face to face with pain. It could be the pain of rejection, the pain of failure, the pain of feeling like you're not enough. Maybe it's financial pain, maybe it's emotional, maybe it's physical, and in that moment, most people collapse. They give in. They let the pain become bigger than their vision, bigger than their dream, bigger than who they are. But here's the truth. You are not your pain. Your pain is a signal, a message, a test. It's asking you, how badly do you want it? Think about it. Every breakthrough in your life, every time you grew, every time you discovered your strength, it wasn't during the easy times. It wasn't when everything was comfortable and convenient. It was when things were hard, when it hurt, when you were pushed to the edge. That's where greatness is born. That's where you stop negotiating with your limitations and you start aligning with your purpose. Because when your purpose is strong enough, when it's alive inside of you like a fire that won't go out, it doesn't matter how much pain you face. You will keep moving. Pain will tell you to quit. It will whisper in your ear, you're tired, you're not capable. You've tried before and failed, but purpose will scream louder. Purpose will pull you forward when your body says stop. Purpose will make you crawl through the broken glass of your doubts, the darkness of your fears, and the weight of your excuses. Pain is temporary. Purpose is permanent. Imagine a mother lifting a car to save her child. Do you think she's worried about the pain in her muscles? Do you think she's calculating the weight and wondering if she might get hurt? No. Her why is bigger than her pain. That's what unlocks superhuman strength. That's what makes ordinary people do extraordinary things. The same is true for you. When you attach your actions to a reason that matters, when you decide that your life, your family, your future is worth it, nothing can stop you. Look back on your own life. When you've achieved something you once thought was impossible, it wasn't because the obstacles disappeared. It wasn't because life suddenly became easy. It was because you found a reason to push through. Maybe it was proving people wrong. Maybe it was proving yourself right. Maybe it was love. Maybe it was hunger. Maybe it was the simple refusal to die with regret. That reason, that purpose made your pain irrelevant. And here's what you need to understand. If you don't have a purpose bigger than your pain, you'll always fold. You'll always find an excuse. You'll always tell yourself, maybe later, maybe tomorrow. But tomorrow is not promised. The clock is ticking. On your life, the pain will always be there in some form. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it paralyze you, or are you going to let it energize you? Are you going to let it destroy you, or are you going to let it sculpt you? Your purpose doesn't eliminate pain, but it transforms it. It takes suffering and gives it meaning. It takes struggle and gives it power. And when you live from that place, you stop asking, how can I avoid the pain? And you start asking, what am I willing to go through for the life I deserve? The greatest athletes, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest leaders, every single one of them had to endure pain that would have broken most people. But they weren't stronger just because they were born that way. They were stronger because their vision demanded it. They decided their purpose was worth more than their comfort, more than their excuses, more than the lies their mind fed them. So right now, ask yourself, what is the purpose that will pull you through the storm? What is the reason that will make you get up when you've been knocked down again and again? Because if reason isn't strong enough, your excuses will always win. But if your purpose is alive, if it's undeniable, if it's burning in your gut, you'll find a way. You'll take the pain and you'll turn it into fuel. Don't wait for life to get easier. Don't wait for the pain to disappear. Step into it. Lean into it. Use it. Because on the other side of that pain is the person you were meant to become. On the other side of that pain is the life you've been dreaming of. And once you taste what it feels like to be driven by purpose, once you experience what it means to make your mission bigger than you are, misery, nothing, absolutely nothing, can hold you back. That's the power of living with purpose over pain. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. And when you become that version of yourself, the one who refuses to surrender, the one who channels pain into progress, you don't just survive, you dominate. You don't just make it through. You rise, and that's exactly what you're here for. Life will always test you in ways you don't expect. You set your plans, you map out your goals, you create a vision board, and then, bang, something happens, the market shifts, the relationship ends, the health challenge shows up, the unexpected crash, the curveball, the storm. That's the reality of life, and most people, they break. They get stuck in the story of how it was supposed to be, how unfair it is, how they can't go on. But the ones who thrive, the ones who rise above, are the ones who understand that adaptability isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. Think about it. The oak tree that refuses to bend in the storm gets snapped in half. The bamboo, on the other hand, sways with the wind, bends without breaking, and when the storm passes, it's still standing. The difference isn't strength, it's flexibility. It's the ability to adjust, to pivot, to say, this isn't what I expected, but I'll find a way. That's what makes someone unstoppable. Most people think success is about control. Control over the economy, control over the people in their lives, control over outcomes, but the truth is, control is an illusion. What you really need is adaptability, because the world will never stop changing. Circumstances will never stop shifting. And if you stay rigid, you'll always be behind. But if you adapt, if you respond intelligently, if you learn how to move with life instead of against it, you can turn any challenge into an opportunity. Look back at history. Every great innovator, every leader, every visionary was forced to adapt. They faced obstacles that could have ended them, but instead of folding, they reinvented themselves. They found new ways to grow, new ways to contribute, new ways to move forward. That's the mindset you need in your own life. The power isn't in controlling the storm, it's in becoming the kind of person who can navigate it. The moment you realize that the obstacle is not the end but the beginning of a new path, your life changes. Suddenly, instead of seeing problems, you start seeing possibilities. Instead of saying, why me? You start asking, what now? What can I create from this? How can I turn this into fuel? That's the language of adaptability. That's the identity of someone who refuses to be trapped by circumstances. Here's the truth. The people who succeed in 2025 and in every year to come will not be the ones who cling to the old way of doing things. They'll be the ones who are resourceful, creative, flexible, the ones who can let go of the plan they thought they needed in order to grab the opportunity that's actually in front of them. They'll be the ones who can reinvent themselves again and again without losing momentum. And let me tell you this, adaptability doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean you're flaky or inconsistent. It means you're resilient. It means you're strong enough to let go of the old identity, the old strategy, the old comfort zone in order to become who you need to be next. It means you stop being attached to how you thought it was supposed to look, and you start getting committed to the result you truly want. Think of it like this. Water is the most powerful force on earth. It shapes mountains, carves valleys, wears down stone, not because it resists, but because it flows, it adapts, it finds a way through, around, under, over whatever it takes. And if you can learn to be like that, nothing will stop you. You won't waste energy resisting what is. You'll put all of your energy into creating what can be. So ask yourself, how quickly do you adapt when life shifts? Do you cling to the old story? Do you get stuck in the pain of how it should have been? Or do you pivot? Do you shift gears? Do you rise with the moment? Because your ability to adapt will determine how far you go. When you embrace adaptability as your superpower, fear loses its grip. Suddenly, uncertainty doesn't paralyze you. It excites you. Challenges don't weaken you, they sharpen you. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions because you know you can create momentum in any condition. That's freedom. That's real power. Life will never stop throwing curveballs. But you don't need a life without storms. You need to become the person who can dance in rain, who can shift with the winds, who can find strength in flexibility. That's how you grow. That's how you thrive. That's how you become unstoppable, because in the end, it's not the strongest who survive, it's not the smartest, it's the ones who can adapt the fastest, and when you master that, there is nothing, no economy, no setback, no heartbreak, that can hold you back. You don't just survive the storm, you rise through it, you dominate it, you become more because of it. Everyone wants the magic moment. Everyone wants the lightning strike of inspiration, the viral breakthrough, the one big win that changes everything overnight. That's the culture we live in, chasing hype, chasing excitement, chasing the rush. But let me tell you something that will shake you. Hype doesn't last, energy fades, excitement dies, and if all you're depending on is a burst of hype to carry you to your goals, you'll quit the moment it gets hard. The truth is, the people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who get the loudest applause. They're the ones who are consistent when nobody's watching. Consistency is the real separator. It's the line between those who talk about change and those who actually create it, because consistency is discipline in action. It's the daily rituals, the unglamorous habits, the choices you make every single day even when you don't feel like it. That's where transformation is born. Not in the highlight reel, not in the hype, but in the grind of showing up again and again. Think about anyone you admire, an athlete, an artist, a leader, a creator. Their success didn't come from one flashy performance. It came from thousands of hours of unseen work. The shots they took in an empty gym, the pages they wrote that no one read, the late nights, the early mornings, the quiet battles with themselves to keep going when no one was cheering. That's what makes greatness. That's the truth people don't want to hear because it doesn't sound sexy. But if you want real results, stop chasing hype and start chasing consistency. Hype is like sugar. It gives you a spike of energy, but then it crashes. Consistency is like fuel, it sustains you. It builds momentum over time. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your goals, even in the smallest way, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your success. And one day, you look up, and there's a wall, there's a structure, there's proof that you are no longer who you were. You've built yourself into someone new. Here's the trap most people fall into. They wait for motivation. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until it feels exciting again. But consistency doesn't care how you feel. Consistency is doing it anyway. Consistency is understanding that feelings are temporary, but the identity you build through repeated action, that's permanent. You don't have to feel like it to do it. You just have to do it. And the more you do, the more you shift your identity. Because here's the secret. Consistency is not about what you achieve. It's about who you become. Every time you keep the promise to yourself, you're proving that you're reliable, that you're disciplined, that you're capable. You start to trust yourself. You stop relying on outside hype to push you forward because you've created an inner engine that never quits. That's freedom. That's power. That's confidence. Think about a river. It doesn't roar with hype. It doesn't explode in a single moment. But with relentless consistency, it carves valleys, it shapes landscapes, it moves mountains over time. That's the force you have inside of you. You may not see the results immediately, you may not get the applause right away, but if you stay consistent, the results become undeniable, they stack, they multiply, they compound into something unstoppable. So the question is, are you willing to be consistent even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when nobody is clapping? Are you willing to do the work when there's no hype, when there's no spotlight, when it's just you and your vision? Because that's the test. That's where you separate yourself from the crowd. The hype will get you started, but consistency will finish the race. Hype will give you the idea, but consistency will turn it into reality. Hype is a spark, but consistency is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark is gone. And if you want 2025 to be the year that actually changes your life, stop chasing short-term excitement and commit to long-term consistency. Every day you show up, you build strength. Every time you follow through, you build trust. Every action compounds, and one day you'll realize you don't need hype anymore because you've built habits that carry you forward automatically. You've become the kind of person who doesn't depend on a rush. You depend on your own relentless drive. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Consistency beats hype every time, and when you master that, there is nothing, no setback, no distraction, no obstacle that can stop you from becoming everything you're meant to be. You don't become a winner when you achieve the goal. You become a winner the moment you decide to embody that identity. Most people wait. They wait until the results show up, until the money's in the bank, until the recognition comes, until the evidence is undeniable, but winners don't wait for proof. Winners create the proof. They live as if the outcome is already theirs. They step into the identity before the world acknowledges it. That's the difference. That's the mindset that changes everything. Identity is the most powerful force in the human experience, you will always act in alignment with who you believe you are. If deep down you see yourself as someone average, someone unworthy, someone destined to fail, you will sabotage yourself every single time. You'll find ways to prove that belief right, but the moment you shift your identity, the moment you say, I am the kind of person who wins, I am the kind of person who follows through, I am the kind of person who refuses to quit, your actions start to line up, your behaviors transform, your results catch up. Look at the people who inspire you most. They didn't just have a strategy, they had an identity. They believed at their core they were champions long before the medals, titles, the accolades. That belief dictated how they trained, how they worked, how they sacrificed. They weren't pretending. They were aligning with a truth they claimed before anyone else could see it. And here's the catch. Your brain craves consistency. Once you declare who you are, your subconscious will fight to make it true. If you say, I'm not disciplined, your brain will make sure you act lazy. If you say, I'm not confident, your brain will reinforce hesitation. But if you decide, truly decide, that you are a winner, that you are unstoppable, that you are the kind of person who makes things happen, you'll begin to seek evidence for that new identity. You'll follow through because that's who you are now. You'll push harder because quitting no longer fits your identity. This is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about declaring the standard you're going to live by and then matching your life to that declaration. Winners don't wake up and ask, how do I feel today? They wake up and say, what does my identity demand today? If you're a winner, you train even when you're tired. If you're a winner, you show up even when it's inconvenient. If you're a winner, you give more than you think you have, because that's simply who you are. Think of it like this. A thermostat doesn't ask permission. It's set to a certain temperature and everything adjusts to match it. Your identity is the thermostat of your life. If you set it low, your results will sink to match. If you set it high, your environment, your habits, your standards will rise to meet it. And when you set it to the identity of a winner, nothing, no setback, no rejection, no delay, and pull you down for long, you'll recalibrate back to your standard. So many people are obsessed with strategies, hacks, shortcuts, and yes, strategies matter. But the ultimate strategy is becoming the person who doesn't quit, becoming the person who follows through, becoming the person who makes victory inevitable because that's the only outcome their identity allows. Once you own that identity, the rest falls in place. Ask yourself right now, who do you believe you are? Not what do you want, not what do you hope for. Who are you at your core? Because if you're carrying around an identity of someone small, someone limited, someone undeserving, you'll never step into your true potential. It's time to strip away that old story. It's time to declare a new one. It's time to own your winner identity. That doesn't mean you'll never stumble. Winners stumble too. It doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. Winners feel fear too. It doesn't mean you'll never face setbacks. Winners face them constantly. The difference is, winners don't let those moments redefine who they are. They use them as fuel. They rise from them. They reinforce their identity. In the fire of adversity, when you claim that identity, everything changes. You don't need external validation because your standard is internal. You don't need perfect conditions because your commitment isn't negotiable. You don't need hype because your identity drives you. That's when you stop playing small. That's when you stop waiting. That's when you start creating momentum that nothing can contain. So stop waiting to be crowned. Stop waiting for the world to recognize you. Stop waiting for the evidence. Step into it now. Declare it now. Live it now. Because once you own your winner identity, the results aren't a matter of if, they're a matter of when. And when that moment comes, when the world finally catches up to the truth you've already been living, you won't be surprised. You'll smile because you knew all along. Now, right here, right now, you stand at a crossroads. Will you settle or will you break through? Will you simply exist or will you own your life? This is your call, your moment. The only 2025 motivational video you'll ever need. Now go, unleash, become